places. Already I've loaded up the ball high res, which is one of your initial primitives in your primitives folder and your props folder in Poser 6. You see I positioned it right onto Victoria 4's hips using only the universal scale. I've got this up to about a 141%. And what I'm going to do now is use the group tool, switch to my wireframe mode, do a quick remove all, and all I'm going to do is select the area that I would like the skirt to be. So very quickly I'm going to do this. Start from the far outside, sweep across, intersection. Alright, once I've got a nice selection there, what I'm going to immediately do is then hit Create Prop from my group editor. The new prop will be named Mini Skirt. Okay. I'm going to go in and delete from my scene the primitive ball. I'm going to hit Delete. That's going to leave us with this object here. So go back to our texture shaded mode and get out of the group editor. Alright, and there we have it. The primitive has now been changed into a miniskirt prop. Now, let me show you what this looks like. We'll go into the main view, do a quick rotate around. It just looks like part of the high-res ball that was just there. Let's quickly head over to the cloth room. Once inside the cloth room, let's go back to the front view. Make sure the miniskirt is selected. New simulation. We want 1 and 15 frames. Hit OK. Don't change anything else. We're going to go to Clothify, the miniskirt, Clothify. It's going to ask what to collide against. Tell it to collide against the abdomen, collide against the hip, and the left and the right thigh. So right thigh, left thigh. OK. Ignore head, ignore hand, ignore feet. We never turn these on in the first place, so it doesn't matter. We don't want the draping turned on, so turn that off and click OK. And now, just run the simulation. Calculate. Depending on the power of your computer, this could take anywhere from 5 seconds to maybe 30 seconds. Okay, great. So I'm going to say that 15, frame number 15 is fine. I'm going to go ahead and export it. Export the wavefront object, single frame. Only want the miniskirt. Click OK. And I'm going to save it in my geometries folder. I'm going to just call it miniskirt.obj. That's object file. Save. And I've already done this tutorial earlier, so now it wants to know, do I want to include the body part seams or any of this? You're going to click all of that off and just hit OK. So we're going to go back to the pose. Now, like I said, this miniskirt doesn't look good, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. I'm going to actually import the one that was done correctly. So delete the one that you just made. Delete that one from the scene. Yes, that's on purpose. Make sure you delete it from the scene. Again, make sure you delete it from the scene. Go back to frame number 1. Make sure that's frame number 1 that you're on. And zoom in again on the hip. We don't need this animation anymore. Alright, now we're going to re-import what we just saved. And yes, this is a step that you're going to have to keep in. You can't skip this step. Go back into your geometries folder, wherever you happen to save your miniskirt object. I saved mine in my own folder, of course. Turn all the options here off. Click OK. Boom. So your miniskirt will re-import. And this is the miniskirt that I did when I was running through this tutorial for myself really quick. As you can see, this one's a lot better. You can run that cloth simulation as many times as you like, position the sphere as many times as you like, until you get the result that you like. Okay, let's see. Once you're set back in, what you're going to need to do is, once again, go to your group tool, however. Let's go to the front view, front camera view, and what we're going to need to do now is set up our groups. the same groups that you see with Victoria 4. This highlighted bone in the background, or highlighted mesh in the background, that's the hip. And we've got the left thigh here and the right thigh here. So what we're going to do is go to Setup. It lets us know that the prop that we have is going to be turned into a figure. That's exactly what we want. And now we've got just the miniskirt. So what we want to do is bring in the development foundation that's in your figures folder that you might have gotten with Victoria 4. What you're going to do is just very quickly double click that. It'll load up a bone mesh, well, sorry, not a bone mesh, but a bone structure for you to work from. We're not going to zoom out to look at that at all, but what you've got right here is the hip bone. Let's make that a little clearer for everybody watching. You've got the hip bone in the middle here, the left thigh, and the right thigh bone. But our miniskirt doesn't have anything on it right now. It doesn't have any groups, so what we want to do is make sure that it does have groups that match up with the same groups that the bones have. We're not going to go over bone theory. We're just going to get this tutorial done very quickly so you learn. Okay, so what we're going to do is go to the grouping tool, and we want to go ahead and hit remove all, regardless of what's there. And what we're very quickly going to do is press auto group. Now, auto group should assign a lot of different groups to this. It should give us a hip. As you can see, it gave us hip, left thigh, right thigh, and abdomen. Now this abdomen is the dangerous one because really there isn't anything attached. The left and the right thigh are here, and we can't have that. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to delete the abdomen. We're going to go to the hip, and we are going to add those extra bones there. Get rid of some bones that we don't need. What you're looking for is that nice T shape. So the hip is this nice T area. This is going to be the the left thigh, and this is going to be the left thigh group. Once you're done with that, you're pretty much done with this group editor, so shut that off. And you can head out back into your pose folder. And right here it says this figure contains polygons which are not grouped to belong to a bone. Are you sure you want to leave? The answer is yes. It could be right, it could be wrong. You never know. Anyway, what we're going to do now is just go ahead and very quickly move this around and see if it moves as it should. This is one of the thighs that I'm moving around right now. Make sure you've got your outfit click there. And again, that's the front camera. So that seems like it's fine. What you're going to do is go to where it says development suit, go up to the body, and what you're going to do is resave this as something like a mini skirt. You can call it mini skirt, doesn't matter what you call it. Because it's yours, you might have to hit enter a couple times in Poser for it to accept that. Now go to your own folder, your figures. I've got mine set up, corinthianscori. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and save it. So, hit the plus, name it whatever you want to name it, hit OK, enter, and it's saved in the folder somewhere. Scroll down, you'll find it. If you called it mini skirt, then that's exactly what it is. We're going to delete the one that we already have loaded, and then double click to load in the new one we just saved. I'm going to conform it to Victoria 4 and then see how it works. So we're going to grab Victoria 4, go to our pose folder, and very quickly do some poses here. Let's just see if it does what a miniskirt should do. And as you can see, it bends and moves with Victoria 4. Not the prettiest girl.